Hi all you beautiful friends. Here we are again. Our Sunday Shining, number 36 or something. So yeah, welcome into this quiet place. Welcome into the heart, where hopefully you all are already. But there are certain things we can do to feel how we are being invited into our hearts, and we can feel how as we move into the heart everything calms down, unless of course we have some emotional issues which we haven't dealt with, and that's when we feel that when we go within it's actually can be difficult. But if there's something that needs to come up, let it come, and we can feel it, that when we let the emotions just arise and just let them be expressed or felt, then we feel the peace. So this might be a video that I'm going to use for the other channel. I'm being pulled over to the other channel. So because so I might just use some of this for the other channel, because I think some of this is going to be about the body and about healing. So that might be what I do, because I feel I feel this urgency, and that can feel very powerful and very, very wonderful, that I'm sort of being pushed or being really inspired to talk about health at the moment. And it's so important, I feel, that when you want to walk the path of the Lord, that you do what He says. I mean, just do what He says. Don't worry. Do not fear. Do not fear that you're going mad, because the world has been mad for a long time. We have all been mad. Now we're becoming sane. And that just feels very strange, because mad was normal before. But we will be, as we move more and more into this new age, we will, of course, everything will feel strange, because we are creating a completely new world. And so things will not be as we used to. I just couldn't get the word. They will be different. And to really follow the inspiration of your heart, when you feel that you're just being told to do this, to just do it is so wonderful. And I just feel very rarely, sometimes I feel, oh, that was maybe that was not the right thing to do, but usually it was the right thing to do. And the beautiful and amazing and powerful thing is that when you take the step into the unknown and do what you're being inspired to do, the road forward is cleared for you, and you feel this momentum, I think it's called. You feel this, you're really, the wind is really pushing you in the right direction, but you have to show the first courage, where this feels so strange, but you feel that you should do it, and to just do it. Because God wants us, we really have to build our strength, and we really do not re-find our strength by always being told, oh, don't you worry, little dear, everything's going to be all right, you're safe, and what you're going to do now is going to be completely successful and wonderful and right. We just don't get it that way. You get this, that's how I feel it anyway, you get this strong urge to do something, and the mind often will, probably often, but less and less of course, as we move into this, the mind will say, that's so stupid. What a stupid idea. You can't do that. Don't you, you know, this, how the mind has been going on for thousands of years. Do you really think you can do that? No, 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 no. There's somebody who's much better than you. And all this stuff we've been listening to for so long, it's become law, it's become normal, and it's not normal. We've been pushed down, pulled down by our own darkness, by the darkness of this world. And every time we wanted to go forward, we were pulled back. So that is very much what I feel with this whole healing path and understanding health for the human body. That there's, and I've mentioned this before, it's like there was some dark forces that were pulling us back all the time. They didn't. Whatever the dark forces are, they're all a part of us. Those dark forces were so strong, and they did not wish us to be well. They wanted human beings to suffer. And that's over. That is over now. We are here to bloom. We are here to thrive. We're here to love life. We're here to love ourselves. We're here to love love. We're just here to have so much fun and enjoy every single juicy moment of this life on earth. With the spirit, with the body, with the mind, with the soul, all in one enormous celebration of life and love. That's what we're here for. Nothing else. And it's going to become easier and easier. But to keep reminding ourselves that sometimes you need to find that courage to just do this thing that you're feeling guided to do, and it can be anything. And it can be anything that doesn't even seem like something good for the world or for you. It can seem very strange sometimes what we're being asked to do from God, from the heart. So yeah. So I really want to talk about the body, and I was just reminded this morning, as it says in the old King James Bible. It doesn't say, you know how it says in the Bible that the body is a temple of the Lord, of the Spirit. But it doesn't even say a temple. It says that the body is the temple of the Spirit. It's the temple. It is your body, my body, every physical matter is where God resides. And so we are still, I know for myself, we're still caught in this idea that here we have the spirit, and that hasn't got anything to do with the body, and here we have the body, and that hasn't got anything to do with the spirit. And it's one big lie, because it has. Our body is a spirit, it's a manifestation, it's a spiritual manifestation of life in this form. It is holy, it is sacred, it is divine, it is God expressing himself in human cells. Hair cells, skin cells, tooth cells, eye cells, eyebrow cells, eyelash cells, nose, mouth, ears, neck, all the way down. God is expressing itself, herself, through us. And we are the masters of our bodies. Our bodies are really under our judgment and our ruling. We've been given this body, and we are the ones who decide how to treat it. God doesn't say, well, I'll do that for you. No, we have to figure out, how am I going to treat this body? And as I've mentioned so many times before, the main thing we must really be aware of is, how do I think about my body? And that's really where I'm starting now. Do I see my body as something sacred and holy? and utterly, utterly valuable? Or do I see my body as something that's a bit ugly, a bit useless, hopeless? I'm just dragging through this life, and one day it's gonna give up, and I'll just try to make the best of it. And of course, that your whole view on your body is vital. And it is just so powerful when we get the whole. I think when we get the whole thing of, I've been given this body. There is a God. There is this great, great power, and I've been given this life. I am also him, her, at the same time, but life is something that I am a part of, and this is a gift I've been given. It's also a job I've taken to live in this body, because it's challenging. It's not easy. But I've been given this gift, and I can treat it as I like. I can stuff it with junk food all my life, which of course will be very short, that life, and I will still be deeply loved by God, and my body will still be sacred. I can't change the value of my body, but I can change the way I see it and I treat it. And what has been so utterly disturbing is that, and as you can see with all the different things I've shared about how we can help our bodies heal, that we really have been in this very, very challenging war, more like. That we who really, really wish to find good health and figure out the code, there was this secret code. How do we get healthy? How does my body get to thrive? It's like there's something we've really, really been fighting against, something very, very strong that's been pulling us back all the time. And so for so many people who have struggled with their health all their lives, at some point they give up because it's just too much. It's just too difficult. And what I feel is where I'm being guided is that was a lie, and it is a lie. Being in a healthy body is simple. And as we see when we go more and more into diet, God loves simple. The body loves simple. Keep it simple, sweetheart. The body loves simplicity. It loves simple food. And simplicity and naturalness is very, very deeply combined. Something that is simple is also very natural. And so this is simple. This is not complex. So we're just moving out of that enormous, powerful lie that we've been dominated by, which we allowed. It's nobody's fault. But we're moving out of this, and we're getting to realize this is very simple. This is very, very simple. And one of the big puzzle pieces, as I see it now with what I've been through in my life, is this whole focus on the way we energize the body. And it can seem utterly, utterly weird, because one of the lies that we have learned was that if you want to become spiritual, you must eat very, very fine food, which means you have to go up into the tree and pick the fruit and use the fruit, and you mustn't kill an animal, and it has to be this very, very high vibrational food, otherwise you will not be enlightened. And that was a lie too. And as I heard a spiritual teacher, a young man who is, could be good to listen to, he said that some of us need meat because we are very high vibrational in the first place, and the only way we're going to be on this planet is to eat meat. So we need it and I think that's very, very true. So some of us need this very, very dense food so that this structure that we have been given for this life, or chosen for this life, can work. And so that's why many of us actually do very well on meat, which from a slaughtered animal, and lots of fat. So there's an energetic. Food is energy. Food is really solar light that comes into a form, and when you eat it, you drink it, you're getting the solar energy into your body. And it can be in many different forms. But what we're seeing now is that the people who are eating only fruits, very few are really thriving. So it's very clear that the majority of us need these more dense, heavy foods, and that's when our cells start to thrive. And so let's just go into this whole ketogenic, high fat, high protein approach. So why is this so vital right now? And what has happened to us as human beings? And as I've mentioned before, I think stress is really, we have been stressed. We humans have we've been through the last 100 years, mainly the last 100 years. Our bodies, our mind, our soul has been deeply, deeply stressed, and really our cells have been at war with the times, with the way things were. So we had in our upbringing, we had the whole stress, which was the biggest. It's the biggest for me, seeing our parents struggling and having very, very difficult situations in our family life. That's the one major, major, major stressor. That life just seemed utterly chaotic emotionally. And some of us had no one. Some of us had some. Usually there's one person during your lifetime who seems sane and who you've been able to learn from and to feel safe with. But some of us had no one. And being in that stressful state, it just disturbs everything, every single function in our body. So that's the first major one, just to explain what went wrong. And the other thing is, of course, our diet was very, very bad, because we didn't have original foods. Most of us did not have original foods. We had food that was very processed and had high amounts of sugar and very low amounts of minerals and fats that are very, very important, proteins that are very important for our cellular structure. So if you took a child who was in a very, very disturbed family and gave them original foods, they would do better, of course, than a child who's in that very disturbed state emotionally and giving them crap food. And then on top of that, when we went to the doctor, really, to say it quite truthfully, we were really tortured. Because we were given antibiotics with this very, very weakened system we already had. Of course, we started getting sick, and what did they do? They gave us antibiotics that ruined our health even more. They might have saved us in the moment, that we didn't die from some throat infection or whatever. But so we survived. They just made us survive, maybe. But all these disturbances went deep, deep, deep into our structure. And finally, of course, the body starts to break down. It just can't handle it. And this is this is a situation that many, many, many of us are in. And that's why we need fat and protein, because we are so, our cells and our whole metabolism is so destroyed that there's really only one way to go. And that's not to eat 30 bananas a day. That's to go and find what is the local, and it's really connecting to the earth where you are living. What is the seasonal local food that I can get for my body? Because my body is a part of this little place on earth, and I have to go back to the roots. And that is the absolutely mind-blowing thing that we see, that when these very, very sick people who are mentally ill, where the body's really falling apart, within weeks their health is restored. They feel normal. it is so fast just by having meat and fat from the local farmer. It's amazing. And of course, all the spirits are at work here, helping us, dragging us out of that mud pile that we've been in physically for so long. They're dragging us out of it, but we had to work, we had to figure out ourselves, what do I need to do to help myself? And so that is the best explanation I can give to why is this suddenly like this. Well, most of us who are metabolically ill, who have been through that treatment, we cannot go to China and live off a big bowl of rice and lots of vegetables every day. It would more or less kill us, because that sugar in that food is like a toxic matter. Our body cannot handle carbohydrates. And as Dr. Atkins, who I will talk about, who was came out in the 80s, 70s, 80s, who really made this really diet revolution, and he was beaten up, and he brought this message to eat fat, meat, eggs, dairy, eat animal products, and you will heal, and you will lose weight straight away. It just drops off you. Yeah, well, that's what he says. I'm going to get his book. It's coming in the mail. He says that we have become allergic to carbohydrates. So everything that contains carbohydrates, it's like the body says, ah! It cannot take them. And that is part of the destruction we've been through. And it was not normal, of course, when we were healthy. That was not a normal thing. It's come because of this destruction we've been through. So that's really to explain, because people who come from outside, they can say, and I've asked that myself many times, I mean, how can so many people live on rice and vegetables and so many people not? That sounds stupid. And I mean, don't be hysterical, don't be fanatical, because just a bit of rice can't hurt you. Well, it can, and it will. So we're going to have a look in some of these healing videos at the content of sugar in just a bowl of rice, or some cornflakes, or all these different foods. You can take teaspoons of sugar, and that's the equivalent, and that's what our body can't take anymore. So it's utterly fascinating and so encouraging that this is not an easy process, because you can react a lot to going through this. But when you remove the carbohydrates from your diet, more or less, some of us, we have to remove them completely. The more metabolically ill you are, the more you have to remove them. When we do this, we heal. Our body knows exactly what to do, and it puts all the pieces, the puzzle that had been thrown into the sky, all the pieces fallen down in a mess, they slowly start to move into place. And all the different things, the green juice, all these different coffee enemas, all these different things that I've shared during the years are all helpers. They can be great helpers for deeper healing. And so this diet change is not the heal-all thing, but as I see it, it is the core issue, really. And of course, deeper down is our belief and the way our mind works. As I started off saying, the way you think about your body is really the most important, and then comes this diet. So I'm so fascinated by this, and I love how you are writing back to me. Just have some tea. So those brain scans I showed you, I mean, if that doesn't frighten you and make you think, I want to get well, if that doesn't make you do it, it doesn't matter to you, and that's okay. For some people, health just does not matter, and they did not come to earth to be healthy. They came to experience a lot of disease and leave in that state. It's okay. So this is really not to say to you that if you're not interested in your health, you're silly or you're going the wrong way. No, we're all on different paths. I just feel I want to use these channels and the connections I have to just inspire as many as possible, and also to regain this love for ourselves, that you are so valuable and you can heal. You just need to do some things to help yourself heal. But it's just wonderful to see that there are some of you who really find this important. And also what I think is so encouraging is that people who are old, I mean, I just saw one the other day, an 81-year-old, and this is Dr. David Unwin, the English doctor. I've mentioned, we'll see a little clip by him because he's so fascinating. He was showing an 81-year-old with a measuring tape around his waist, and see all this weight that he's lost and how he's just looking handsome and feeling so good. He's 81 years old. We can do this in any age. Doesn't matter how old you are. And that tells us something about the human body and its capability to heal. It's incredible. So it's never too late. And to see that although I'm aging, although I've lived a long life, I want to have feel good in my last years, and they might be 30. They might not be 3 more years. They might be many, many more years. So it's so fascinating and just so wonderful, and I'm just finding more and more people, more and more doctors and people who are speaking about this on the internet. It's just so wonderful. So we're really being told that what we were taught before was one big lie. Health is not difficult. Health is easy. It takes some work from ourselves. We need to go into maybe feeling very unwell for a while, but we can get through this and we can do this. And one of the websites I want to share with you is it's a YouTube channel called Meatrx. Meat, MEAT .rx. So if you haven't found it, go and have a look. And that is people who are on the carnivore diet, who are really mainly eating meat and fat, salt and water. And this is what I love about this is that it's people's own stories, and they're talking. I think also it's so heartwarming, and it just really is an expression of this new age where people are telling their story, telling about their farts. I mean, how bad their farts were, and how now they don't have those bad farts anymore. And these simple things about this physical body that have been this taboo. We don't talk about farts here. We don't talk about bad breath. We don't talk about these bad things. But really, the body has been so imbalanced, and we had to go to this secret place at the doctor's, and he didn't even help us. And now all these little stories are coming out, that this is how bad I felt, and now I feel good. My life has changed. One man was saying, I'm a better man for my wife. I've become present. I'm not so anxious and so nervous anymore. I've become a better man. I mean, people saying this, it's so honest. It's so it just really is heart-warming and heart-opening, and it's humbling. It's how we're all just really becoming so human. We're daring to talk about our humanness. And by talking about all your difficulties and how you have changed your life, we're helping each other to find hope. So all this honesty, authenticity, and goodwill, and good wishes for each other. It's so wonderful. So if you want to go and check it out, you can do that. And of course on Meatrx, where people go into the carnivore journey, it is people who have been on the ketogenic diet for a long time, or sometimes for a short time, but they can see that having a lot of vegetables is not helping them. And we will talk much more about this. Why are vegetables suddenly bad? I mean, this sounds so stupid. We have all, I know from myself, our family life, we stuffed each other with ourselves with vegetables because and beef we'd never ever had, because we had learned this, that beef is bad. That was the lie. So we will talk about why can vegetables be bad, but these people who have been on the high fat, high protein diet in a ketogenic way with many different types of plants, they can see that this is not enough. So they have to go all the way to carnivore, which is just beef, salt and water and fat. And then they heal. Then all the pieces fall into place often. And that is just, it's very interesting how the body, going back to keep it simple, sweetheart, when the body is very disturbed, it wants its super, super, super simple. And it wants fat and it wants protein. So I can go on about this. I can't stop now. I've sent off the wagon. We're off now. And I can't stop. But I have to stop. So we're going to do a Gabriel message now. And yeah. So this is for the Sunday Shining video. And the other video, yeah, we'll just have this diet thing in it. So let's see what the angels want to say about this for us today. So this is so beautiful. So it's the Gabriel message number 34. Gratitude opens the door to feeling God's love. Dear one, when you feel God's love, there is a sense of peace and harmony within you. This feeling allows you to step back from the drama in your life and to let the love of God flow into every situation. When divine love is flowing freely through you, miraculous healings occur. There is one place where you can always go to feel God's love, and that is in your heart. Gratitude is the attitude that will take you into your heart. It does not matter if you see nothing in your life for which you feel grateful. Just the act of giving thanks opens a door in your heart to allow God's love in. When there's nothing else you can give thanks for, you can give thanks. When there's nothing else, you can give thanks for just being alive. It is a gift to be in a human body, which is a miraculous instrument. You can give thanks that your heart beats, that your breathing occurs, and digestive processes continue without your conscious direction. If your life feels like a constant struggle, you can give thanks for the lessons you are learning. On the other side of the struggle is freedom. You can give thanks in advance for such freedom. Prayer shifts our perspective so we can see a larger picture of what is actually going on in our lives. Prayers of gratitude are very powerful and stimulate an increased flow of God's energy into every situation. This energy can create miraculous change for good. It may take a little effort to find something to be grateful for when you're feeling down, but it will create a beautiful shift in your mind when you do so. This shift is the doorway into a new awareness of the greater truth in your life. The greater truth is that you are never alone, and that you are here on earth to remember your connection to the divine presence in your life. You are meant to live a happy, abundant life with deep fulfillment. In order to do this, it is necessary to step out of the problems life presents and into the flow of God's love, which will bring solutions. It is as if you step through a doorway into right action, trust, and loving awareness. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to all you are seeking. A simple thing that brings miracles into your life. Remember, gratitude opens the door to feeling God's love. creativity. I think she's painting, made paintings or something. Thank you, little blackbird, for your voice, your song. Thank you, all beautiful birds, all beings. Yeah, so that was just fantastic to see the gift of the body, the human body, to be in a body. If you've got nothing else to thank for, you can thank that you have this body, that you are in this body for this lifetime. And yeah, to really feel the love for this body that you've been given, all its sexuality, its feelings, its expressions, its looks, its just feeling how you move, feeling how your heart is beating. Just touch your arm, feel how all these nerve cells, this is really a miracle that we are in this human body, and it is an expression of God. It is holy, it is precious. So yeah, this was a Sunday shining for the body, remembering that the body and the spirit are not separate, they are one. So thank you for being there, all you beautiful, beautiful, wonderful friends and family. Thank you for your comments, thank you for your gratitude, and thank you for every time that you sink into your heart and just feel the love. So have a beautiful Sunday and a wonderful, wonderful week. See you, my friend.